in a way that now Johannesburg is a skeleton city. To find that now, a place where you'll find big offices, big company is around here, away from the city. Can you understand now?
Yes. Why did they move them?
They move in a way of now. When we voted 1994, picture this, during segregation era, African people, it was difficult for them to come to big cities. But now, after they abolished the old law, it was to say now, all African people who were living in areas like homeland, they were now having opportunity to come to big city to try their luck. Now what was happening, the city itself, Johannesburg, it was pure white during those early years. Now what happened was, when African people started to come to the city, especially after finishing voting, hoping now that black and white will build one big society, it ended up now, all those big companies which were in Johannesburg, they never trust African people, that they move out.
They didn't want to give them work?
Sure. The problem facing South Africa today, half of the population is out of work. Approximately, in my way of statistics, 86%. 86% of the people out of work.
And that's African people.
It will be, yes.
Yeah.
It's Detroit. All the companies go to the suburbs. It's Detroit.
If you could visit the big city, Johannesburg, you will be shamed.
We went yesterday.
The apartment, two-let.
We saw it yesterday.
All those big offices, all those big companies, today you see them here. New suburbs have been built. These are the white neighboring hood.
That's too expensive for the average African person.
So,
The
now
natives here.
So, in a way, don't get me wrong. I'm not racist. Now in South Africa, things goes like this. Today, you are in Johannesburg, but in the north of Johannesburg. Are you with me?
Yes.
I'm from the south. When you are in South Africa, notice this. If you are in Johannesburg, in the north of Johannesburg, the higher of the number of the people that you will see, it will be more white people. When you go south side, that's when you're going to see more black people.
Okay.
Meaning in a hotel where you stay, the African people that are there, those are the people who work in shops around the area. Around about 4 o'clock, they will reverse, going back to the south.
So what we're saying is the racism that developed and the segregation.
I would say, my friend, it will take a stone to turn into water. It's gonna take more time. I can only talk about the new South Africa. I can only paint a picture of it, but I believe that you could see change with your own eye.
Simba, is any of this government housing or is all private homes?
These are private homes owned by banks. You have to have work. This area is called Midrand. Midrand is to say it is between Johannesburg and Pretoria.
Okay.
Now, as far as your eyes can look over there, that's a government bank, Development Bank of South Africa. All the provinces, they borrow money over there to uplift their standard of their area. Now let me now go back to the old history that I was like saying. The English people, they came in South Africa, the year was 1875. They came in the same area where the Dutch people were living. Can you hear me at the back?
Yes.
Now as the English people were in Cape Town, it was tough for them to survive in South Africa. The people who were living big life, nice life, with the Dutch people. Now, as it was tough for the English people to survive in Cape Town, Dutch people, they invite them in the table to negotiate with them and said to them, how about if we hire you as a middleman or as a security guard? When the first English people came to South Africa, they were hired by the Dutch, they were working as a security to the Dutch people. Then what happened was, as the Dutch people were occupying Cape Town, which they took it to the Xhosa tribe and the Khoisan. As the English people were there, they were like acting as a middleman, as a security guard. What happened was, when African people, they would go by night to steal their belonging in villages which they were staying in, the English people, they will arrest them and torture them. Then at the end of the day, as English people were been given a license to become a middleman, they then started to draft the law. As they draft the law, they saw now that Cape Town itself was not belonging to the Dutch, was belonging to the native Khoisan and the Xhosa tribe. They invited the Dutch to the table and said, now, friends, how about we abolish slavery, each man to live his own life? Are you with me? It was in the middle of 18th century. Now, Dutch people, as they were invited by the British, in talking of how about if slaves is been abolished, each man to survive by himself. Dutch, they hated that thing. They then fancy to regroup. It was early 1835 in Cape Town. As they regroup in early 1835 in Cape Town, the Dutch community around Cape Town, they call all the Dutch people in a big conference. They said they will leave Cape Town because the British people, they come with a new concept of to say slave must be abolished. Are you with me? Then what happened was, the Dutch people, they regrouped themselves into 4 groups. As we are going to Pretoria today, we are going to visit a museum. It's called Fort Trekker Monument. That museum, we are going to visit inside. I'm going to explain the drawing inside. Whatever I am saying, you stand a chance to see it in a drawing. It's a Picasso sort of a thing. Now, in 1835, the Dutch people, they fancy to leave Cape Town. They then fancy to enter the interior of South Africa, hoping that inland is an empty area, there are no people surviving. But they were wrong. As they left Cape Town early 1836, they left Cape Town early 1835, it took them the whole year. Around about early 1836, they were around here. Are you with me?
Yes.
The Dutch people, they arrived in this territory, it was early 1836. As they were around here, they met another African group, which was called Mzilikazi people. Mzilikazi, he was the king of Matabele. Mzilikazi, he fought with the Dutch, but the Dutch were too strong. Are you with me? They defeat Mzilikazi, then the Dutch, they took over. They end up living around here, nice life, in a second place in South Africa. Meanwhile, English people, they were now in Cape Town. They started to introduce their own philosophy. Then from then, they then fancy to be on the footstep of the Dutch. Are you with me? The English people, they fancy to follow the Dutch people. They end up around here. As the English, they were around here, they saw the Dutch living good life again. The Dutch were too angry to see the English people. This is when the Dutch and the English, they fought for the first time. If read in books, they will call it the First Anglo-Boer War. The First Anglo-Boer War, it was between the British and the Dutch. They were fighting for the country. Are you with me? As they were fighting for the country, pity, the British were too strong. They defeat the Dutch. They invited the Dutch. It was early 1852 in a Sand River Convention. In a Sand River Convention was to say, how about if South Africa is been split into 4 pieces? In early 1852, early 18th century, after the Sand River Convention, South Africa was been now given 4 states. Are you with me? Those states were called Transvaal, Cape Town, Natal, Orange Free State. The British people, They hated to live in this area because it was far away from the sea. They wanted to live attached Cape Town and attached Natal.